I'm Dino Meganovic. We're here in Dubai for the F3 Asian Championship.
Hello, I'm Alexandre Bardinon. I'm here for the Asian F3 Championship.
Hi, I'm Amna Al-Kubaisi from the United Arab Emirates, and I'm attending the F3 Asian Championship.
Pierre-Louis Chauvet racing here in Dubai in car number 3.
Hi, I'm Lorenzo Fluxa from Spain, racing in the F3 Asia.
I'm Jimbo Lukbasi from Turkey, racing in the F3 Asian Championship.
Hi, I'm Casper Stevenson. I'm from England.
Hi, I'm Roy Nissani from Israel, racing for High-Tech GP in the F3 Asian Championship.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hadja, coming from France, racing in the Asian F3 Championship this year.
Hi, my name is Matthias Lutten, racing in the F3 Asian Championship for Pinnacle Motorsport.
Hi, I'm Reese Vishijima, and I'm racing with High-Tech Grand Prix in the Asian F3 Championship.
Hello, my name is Rafael Villagomez.
Hi, I'm Roman Stanek. I'm 16 years old from Czech Republic. I'm racing for the High-Tech GP.
I'm Iwasa from Japan.
I'm Zdenek Chovanec. I'm from Venezuela and I race in the F3 Asian Championship.
Hi, I'm Guan Zhou from Shanghai, China. I'll be competing in the Formula 3 Asian Championship.
Hi, I'm Jehan Daruwala from India.
Hi, I'm Kush Mahini from India, racing for the Mumbai Falcons in the Asian F3 Championship.
Hello, I'm Irina Sidorkova from Russia.
Hi, I'm Alessio Deledda from Italy, racing in F3 Asian Championship.
Hi, I'm Roberto Faria from Brazil. I'm racing the F3 Asia.
Hi, I'm Nicola Marinangeli from Italy, racing for F3 Asia Championship.
Hi, my name is Patrick Pasma from Finland. I'm racing in the Asian F3 Championship.
A very good morning to you from the Yas Marina circuit. Thank you for joining us for what will be the conclusion today of the F3 Asian Championship. And it is looking like it is going to go right down to the wire. Pierre-Louis Chauvet currently leads, but the man who is challenging him for the title, China's Zhou Guanyu, is on pole position for both this race in coming up in just a few moments' time and later today for the 15th and final race of the season. And the lead that Chauvet currently has, I can tell you, is 20 points exactly. Let's take a look at what happened last night, late here, and to see a famous win for Finland's Patrick Pasma. Zhou Guanyu it was on pole position on the left of screen, but Pasma came right down on the inside and managed to get his nose in front going into turn one. And that really was the defining moment of the race in terms of the result. Plenty of action in the early stages behind as championship leader Pierre-Louis Chauvet was battling first with Kushmeni and also with Roy Nissani. But it was Pasma who managed to eke out that lead into the front, and he would not surrender that. From turn one all the way to the checker flag. This was a key moment though, with leader Chauvet forced wide, and then when he rejoins, this is through turns 7, 8, and 9, he got his nose in front of Nissani, and that was an incident that the stewards were looking at late into the night yesterday because it had massive championship implications. Roman Stanek was running very well further ahead in position number 3. Alex Connor there in the light blue car was in amongst the action, but he had a late incident. Stanek was in third place looking for his first podium position of the season as Pasma was lapping very nicely indeed at the front of the field. Then late on in the race, Stanek, you can see on the left of screen, was marooned alongside pit wall, and that allowed Kushmeni of India to come into the podium spots for the first time for him this year. So Pasma came round, despite that yellow flag because of Stanek there stranded. Zhou Guanyu was second. Now Chauvet initially finished down in 6th, but we've just this morning, literally moments ago, had confirmation that he has been promoted to 5th with a penalty to Roy Nissani. And so that is extremely significant in the championship implications because it gives an extra 2 points to Pierre-Louis Chauvet. So he now leads by 24 points at the top of this championship. But still, plenty of points on offer, and I'll come back to that in just a second as we look at the track map. Now, the turn where all the incidents, all the drama happened with Chauvet and with Nissany was that little run between 11, 12 and 13, just coming around the bottom of the screen there. And this is the F1 layout that you may be familiar with. When we raced here earlier in the year, it was slightly different. Let's hear from our pole sitter now. He's talking to Feline, Zhou Guanyu.
Starting from P1 again, and you only have 22 points from the leader, and what will be your approach for this race?
Yeah, my approach obviously is try to win the race, to take that 25 points on my championship, and then I think it's all going down to him, that the pressure will be in his shoulder, and for my side I have nothing to lose this weekend, you know, and we already gained some points in race 1, so the last 2 races is about maximize my side and see what the others happening.
Can you say something to our Chinese fans?
Yeah, sure. 非常感谢大家一直以来看我比赛、关注我比赛，还有给我的支持。那么我这次来亚洲 F3也是借用这个冬季，让自己有更好的准备，然后也给自己的超级驾照积分积攒越多的积分，让我之后可以更有希望可以进军或者完成自己的梦想吧。然后我会加油的，争取把这个年度冠军给拿到。
Joe there thanking his thousands of Chinese fans for showing him support throughout this championship season, which has been condensed into just a month long here in the United Arab Emirates. This is the 5th and final round. We had the first round in Dubai at the Dubai Autodrome, and then we were here at the Yas Marina circuit for rounds 2 and 3, back to Dubai for rounds 4, and here we are completing round 5 today with 2 races for you to close out the season. Now, when Feline did that interview with Joe, the gap was provisionally 22 points, but after that decision, which, as I said, has just finally been decided the day after the race, Chauvet now has a 24-point lead at the top of the standing. Now, that sounds like a lot, but he starts from position number 7 today and position number 6 in this afternoon's final race. Zhou Guanyu, meanwhile, is on pole position for both races. So if Zhou were to convert those into wins, he'd get 50 points, and Chauvet would be getting 14 points if he's unable to change position. Of course, we expect that that won't be how it plays out exactly, but that, on the standings from grid position, would give Zhou a 36-point swing in the standings, and he only needs 25 points. So the question is, can Zhou do something that he struggled to do, something he wasn't able to do yesterday, is win from pole position, and how far up from positions number 7 and 6 respectively can Chauvet climb during the races? It's going to be a little bit challenging to keep track of all the changing maths, but I will do my best as the race progresses to update you with the as things stand. But it's looking like this race, barring a major drama right now in this race coming up, will go right down to the wire in this afternoon's 3rd race of the weekend and the 15th race of this season. So, 231 points at the top of the standings for the Frenchman, Pierre-Louis Chauvet, and he has had 6 wins across the 13 races in the season. Second is Zhou Guanyu with 207 points, 24 points behind. Now, he only has 2 wins. The first 2 races of the season, he had a perfect start, and then was just banking lots of second places, a lot of podium positions as well, and he hasn't finished outside the top 5, apart from in round 3 where he had a DNF. So he's been pretty consistent, but hasn't been able to have the starts that he would have liked. We saw him pretty much stall on the grid from pole position, and he went down to 15th position last weekend off the start, even though he was able to climb back into 4th. Yesterday, he started on pole position in that same front left spot that he occupies today. But Patrick Pasma, if you saw in the recap of yesterday's race, was able to edge past him into turn 1 and claim the spot, which he would not relinquish. Today, it is Patrick Pasma again, who will try to repeat exactly what happened yesterday. Now, what we saw from Joe as he did the formation lap, he then angled his car already down in across the track towards turn 1 to try to close the door early on down that straight, close the door on Pasma. But Pasma got away very, very smartly indeed and barged his way through. So we'll see if Joe tries the same angling. He's lined up straight here, but we have a formation lap, of course. We'll see if he angles in and if Pasma is able to have another lightning start. They both, no doubt, will have been replaying exactly what happened yesterday, both in their heads and on the video screens, to see if they can repeat or avoid, depending on which perspective you have. So, formation lap for the 14th race of the season, coming to you live from the Yas Marina circuit. And let's just take you through the grid now. Zhou Guanyu starts on pole position, and one of the cars just having a little bit of an issue at the back of the grid. So Zhou and Pasma on the front row of the grid, exactly as we saw it yesterday. Jahan Durivala, who is third in the standings, starts from position number 3 alongside the young Spaniard David Vidales. Kushmeni, podium for him yesterday on the third row of the grid with Roman Stanek, who was running well until a late incident. He would have been on for that podium position. Championship leader Pierre-Louis Chauvet is alongside his nemesis Roy Nassani on the fourth row of the grid. Those two clashing yesterday. Roberto Faria and Cem Bolokbasi. Some fireworks expected from the fifth row there as well. Lorenzo Fluxa and Ayuma Iwasa, who currently leads the Rookie Cup standings on the sixth row of the grid. Iwasa is just ahead of Reese Usajima in that Rookie Cup, and that looks to be Alex Connor, I think, behind us. Then we have Rafa Villagomez and Amna Alcabasi on the eighth row of the grid. Alessio Deleda and Arina Sidorkova occupy the 19th row, 9th row of the grid, sorry. Getting ahead of myself here. Khaled Alcabasi and Alexandra Bardinon, who's had a bit of a checkered last few races and some incidents and bad luck happening to him. And Nicolo Maria Angli is on the back of the grid, and he was penalised 3 grid positions for an earlier incident. So he had been slightly faster with a 2:09.9. The grid today, of course, set by the fastest lap times in yesterday's race. Now, if you were watching yesterday's race, you may have heard mention that Khaled Alcabasi was in fact going to be in a stunning 4th position, but I think there must have been some sort of error with the timing screen. He is down towards the back of the field where he's tended to be. He starts from the 10th row in position number 19. Zhou Guanyu, Patrick Pasma, Darivala and Vidales are on the front 2 rows. So let's see if China's Zhou Guanyu, who is 24 points behind championship leader Pierre-Louis Chauvet, angles his car down towards T1 as he did yesterday. It didn't work for him, but he might try to repeat that strategy and just execute a little bit better. 25 points on offer for the winner of each of these races. And that would really put the pressure on, no matter where Chauvet finishes. Well, he has angled slightly, not quite as much as we saw yesterday. Joe in the front left of your car, and you can see that Jahan Durivala behind him is also trying a sort of similar strategy. So that seems to be common, but it was more pronounced, definitely, yesterday. Pasma, meanwhile, looks to be angled more towards the middle, so he's going to try to race away from the start and block Joe from coming across. So plenty of tactics here between front runners here in this race. We are moments away. There's the green flag. Watch for the red lights to go out. Race number 14 of the F3 Asian Championship. And we are go. Now, who got the best start? Pasma looks to have done pretty well. He's forcing Joe wide, and again, the Finn has come across from position number 2 into the lead into turn 1. Exactly what he wanted to do. Repeat, Roy Nassani well off the track there. as he tries to get around Pierre-Louis Chauvet. Wasn't going to happen there, but Pasma once again converting P2 into a lead into turn 1. And Roy Nassani, has he taken, it looks like he might have taken Pierre-Louis Chauvet, but Stanek also in the mix there as they battle. Nassani trying around the outside. Oh, and some action. And a few cars going wide in the early running here of lap 1 at the Yas Marina circuit. Pasma and Joe already opening up a bit of a gap, with Jahan Darivala trying to stay with them. Joe is trying to go around the outside, ambitious, but can he get track position? Oh, possibly coming together there, very, very close. And a couple of cars behind them staying off, so that might bring out the yellow circuit. And look at Jahan Darivala right behind, lining up Zhou Guanyu as he again tries his hand, and he's going to cut the corner. He's got to be very careful not to rejoin in front, and he's going to have to give up that position. Yes, he's been cautious there, but he wouldn't have wanted to give it up to the Indian in third place. Darivala will be trying to go past the Chinese driver and claim second. Now that, need another look at exactly who that was, but Patrick Pasma early on leads here from this man on screen, Zhou Guanyu. And the safety car will be out, hopefully not for too long, and we can get back to what everyone wants to see, which is plenty of racing. So, Pasma, Joe, Darivala, Vidales, Kushmani, Roy Nassani, Chembolet Bassi, and would you believe it, I thought it might have been, it's Pierre-Louis Chauvet, the championship leader, who looks to be out of this race early on, and that is going to wipe out the vast majority of his lead. This is absolutely stunning here from the Yas Marina circuit. We'd have to see a replay of exactly what happened, because there were multiple cars involved, but Pierre-Louis Chauvet on your screen there says he's in 21st position. Came together somehow with Roman Stanek, and both of them are stranded. Even if they are to rejoin, there's no way back to the points for them now. So Zhou Guanyu, as things stand, and look at that, the number 3 car of your championship leader, Pierre-Louis Chauvet, he will be absolutely furious as he sees the rest of the field just progress around him. And Stanek, who had that late incident yesterday, a mechanical issue we hear, where he was marooned on pit wall and fell out of the podium positions, allowing Kushmani to get his first podium of the season. So, 26 minutes on the clock. These are just pretty quick 30-minute sprint races. Stanek now is climbing out of his cars as the marshals come to help. But as things stand, China's Zhou Guanyu will be picking up 18 points, cutting the gap, if he is able to hold on to that, cutting the gap in this championship to just 6 points with 1 race to go. And remember, Joe is on pole for that race, and Chauvet starts from down in 6th. So huge drama and massive implications in the championship standings, despite no racing just yet, with the safety car out at the moment while we try and get those 2 cars cleared from the track. Well, we thought it might go down to the wire, but it looks to have happened a little bit quicker than perhaps we expected. So the marshals trying somehow to get Chauvet's car off the track, hopefully within the next lap or so, and we can get back to racing. But if you're just joining us, Patrick Pasma from the Evans GP team started from P2, as he did yesterday, and as he did yesterday, grabbed the lead from China's Zhou Guanyu going into turn 1. So Pasma looking for his 3rd win in 4 races. Now this restart, which we'll have after the safety car goes back in, gives Zhou a little bit of a chance to regroup, perhaps have a little crack early on while there is no gap between him and the Finn, to try to reclaim the win, reclaim the first spot in this race. And if you were able to do so, he would dramatically go into the championship lead by a single point. He's currently 24 points behind championship leader Pierre-Louis Chauvet, who is out of this race. There is also a school of thought that says Zhou should just bide his time, pick up the 18 points for second, not try anything stupid. The worst case scenario for him would be some sort of contact as he attempts to go round Patrick Pasma, if he's able to get that opportunity. At the moment, things have fallen very, very nicely indeed for him, even though he had a disappointing start. And that has been a feature of the Chinese drivers' season, I have to say. One of the most experienced drivers in this field. He's competed in the Formula 2 Championship for both of the last 2 seasons, finishing 7th 2 years ago and 6th last year. And he is an Alpine test driver for the F1 team. So very well regarded, very highly thought of amongst those at the top of motorsport, and tipped by many people to be China's first Formula 1 driver a few years from now. He will be back in Formula 2 when the season kicks off again in May. And Jahan Durivala, who is currently in 3rd place, another one of the F2 racers. So some great experience amongst this field. And one of the reasons why some of those top drivers have dropped down into this F3 Asian Championship is because, number one, there isn't a whole lot else going on for them at the moment. They're sitting around waiting for their F2 season to start. But also with 15 races across just 1 month of action here in the United Arab Emirates, it's a great chance not only to pick up some great race experience on this Formula 1 track, but also get some highly prized and coveted FI Super License points. The winner of this championship will get 18 points. 2nd place gets you 14 Super License points, 12 and 10 and so on, all the way down to 9th position. So plenty of Super License points on offer here in the F3 Asian Championship. 18 points for the winner is almost half of what you need to collect over a 3-year period to qualify to race in Formula 1, which, as mentioned, is the ultimate goal for many of these young drivers here. And they are young. 12 of the 21 drivers in the field are still teenagers. 15 nationalities across the 21. Just 2 more of the 15 races to complete. This one and another one later today. So the safety car's still out, but hopefully we can get about 2/3 of this race remaining, and most of it can be used for racing. Fingers crossed. So Patrick Pasma is the man at the front of this field behind the safety car from China's Zhou Guanyu. Then India's Jahan Durivala. The Spaniard David Vidales is in 4th. Durivala's teammate with the Mumbai Falcons India Racing Team, Kush Mayani, is in 5th position. Roy Nassani, a man always in the action, is in 6th. Then Turkey's Cembuluk Basi, who is a very well-known esports racer turned racing driver and has a lot of fans. He is He's currently in 7th position, having started in 10th. So moved up 1 position, but then also past Stanek and Chauvet, who are 2 cars out of this race. Roberto Faria is in position number 8. Amna Al-Kubaisi, one of the 2 female drivers, is up into 9th position, but she is being investigated currently for an incident. As we can see, that safety car has gone in, and Pasma has control of the field once again. He will be looking for the perfect restart. China's Zhou Guanyu, what can he do? Can he get his revenge as Pasma revs up his engine? And we go back to racing with the green flag. Patrick Pasma was the man with the decision here as we come down through the home straight. And no change immediately. It looks like Joe's going to be a little bit too far to have a crack. David Vidal is having a look. He is sandwiched between the 2 Indian drivers, Daravala and Maini in 3rd and 5th. Roy Nassani in 6th. Chembuluk Bassi having a look right behind him in 7th position. But another good start for Patrick Pasma. It's become a defining feature for him, even as the slightly poor starts from the standing start for Chinese Zhou Guanyu have been. But still, plenty of time. Zhou Guanyu will be happy with his 18 points, which he's on course to collect at the moment. But if Pasma does anything silly, he won't mind grabbing another win either. Each of these front 2 drivers have 2 wins. And that is Kushmaini having a look behind the back of David Vidales. Well, Daravala has cut that corner massively. We'll have to see where he rejoins and what are the implications there. Because if he is deemed to have had an unfair advantage, he could be penalised later. Well, he certainly has. And Kushmaini going down the inside of David Vidales. There's Roy Nassani, comes around the outside, and he's going to cut off the corner. Again, where will Nassani join? Well, that's certainly an advantage from the Israeli driver and another couple of drivers. This is going to get very, very messy for the stewards to sort out early on in the restart here. No change at the very front. Patrick Pasma and Zhou Guanyu, but Jahan Daravala is now considerably closer to the Chinese driver than he was after the section we've just gone through. Kushmaini up into 4th ahead of David Vidales. So plenty of action here as these drivers are giving it everything. So Mumbai Falcons teammates Daravala and Maini now occupying 3rd and 4th as the field begins to spread out a little bit. Then come Vidales. Bolak Bassi is up into 6th, and Roy Nassani, sensibly perhaps, has ceded position on the track. You would expect that would be to hand back the advantage he had gained, so that he is not penalised later. All the drivers have been briefed very, very clearly on that, because this is a track where there's plenty of these runoff areas. If you miss any of your braking points or feel that you're forced wide at any point, there's lots of runoff areas for you to take advantage of. But as long as you give back that position, any advantage that you've gained from that, as we see another car cut the corner, well, and it looked possibly some contact there towards the back of the field. Well, plenty happening here. Pasma still win. Oh, and there it is. Well, the 99 car of Khaled Al-Kubaisi in a T with one of the other back markers. And that, unfortunately, is bound to bring out another safety car. So another bit of a stop-go race here, but no change at the front apart from the very first turn of the race. Patrick Pasma of Finland, looking for his 3rd win in 4 races, leads from China's Zhou Guanyu. Then come the 2 Mumbai Falcon teammates, Jahan Duravala and Kushmeni. Then David Vidales and Chem Bullock Bassi. Just going through this top of your screen there. And we are expecting another safety car here. If we get another shot of what's going on with Khaled Al-Khabaisi, well, there they are. Oh, well, are they able to get... No, it looks like some damage on... Yes, well, that's very unfortunate there as the cars were trying to get back. That's Alex Connor with Khaled Al-Khabaisi. So official confirmation that the safety car is back out. And hopefully it won't be too long if the cars were able to both drive off, but we'll have to get that debris from the car picked up. This is the area. This one slows right down sensibly. Still wait for one of the track marshals to remove that from the track and then hopefully get right back to it. With just under 13 minutes left on the clock, still plenty of time. Zhou Guanyu will have another opportunity to see if he can keep the Finn Pasma in his sights. So Patrick Pasma leads this race. Zhou Guanyu is 2nd, and he is 2nd in the championship standings as well. Jahan Duravala is 3rd, and 3rd in the championship standings. Duravala is too far back of our leader, Pierre-Louis Chauvet, to still be in contention for the title, but he will be wanting to pick up as many points as he can, not just for this championship, but as mentioned, for the FIA Super License points on offer. But if you're just joining us, the big drama is that early on, there was an incident involving championship leader Pierre-Louis Chauvet and Roman Stanek, 16-year-old Czech driver. Both cars are out of this race. And that means, as things stand, that Chauvet's lead at the top of this championship will be cut to just 6 points with 1 race remaining in a few hours' time later today. And his main rival for the title, Zhou Guanyu, starts on pole position for the 15th and final race of the series. Chauvet will have to see what he can do from 6th position. He will be desperate to try to work his way through the field. There are definite opportunities for overtaking. The best efforts we've seen of people carving through the back markers have been a couple of times from Zhou Guanyu. Unfortunately, that has resulted off the back of some poor starts, meaning that he's had to play catch-up. But he has shown that it can be done. So, hard to pick a favourite at this stage if there's no more changes in the standings for the championship in this race with 10 minutes on the clock, but the safety car still in play. So, Patrick Pasma waiting for the safety car to go in. Tell you, we've just had word that car number 33, that is China's Zhou Guanyu, is under investigation for going wide at turn 9. So is there going to be yet another twist in what is turning into a dramatic finale for this championship? It's possible that Zhou is penalised. We don't know yet what the stewards will rule. Will it be positions? Will it be timing? And if it's time, he will want to get back to racing as much as possible to try to spread out that field. Because a time under a safety car finish, of course, will have more impact and he will lose more points. So even if we get a provisional result here, that may change in the hours before the final race of the season, which is later today. So the stewards will have a very busy few hours, and there are a number of incidents they'll be looking at. The one involving Khaled Al-Khabaisi and Alex Connor, which has prompted the current safety car. Good to see the safety car will be in this lap, and we'll get back to racing for about 8.5 minutes or so. That was one of the incidents. Then there was the one early on with Chauvet and Stanek. They're investigating Zhou Guanyu for track limits at turn 9. And possibly some other drama as well. So green flags back out with 8 minutes on the clock. Pasma, as he has done time and time again in the last few races, gets a very, very nice start. Kushmani having a little bit of a look around his teammate, Jahan Durivala, ahead of him in the battle for third position. The team will be very much hoping it's not a battle, and they at least respect each other. David Vidales, a Spaniard who joined this championship late, has shown some very, very rapid pace in the races that he's been involved in. And he is right behind Kushmani, eyeing up fourth position. Then is Turkey's Cembolet Bassi and Roy Nassani just a little bit further back. So Pasma. And again, Kushmani just having a little bit of a look, as if to say, come on, Jahan, hurry up. Let's get that front two. And let's hope that we have clean racing in the final stretches of this race. So Alex Connor was unable to escape that incident. He is back in the pits after the damage to his car, but Khaled Al-Khabaisi is back out, currently running in 18th position. So 18 of the 21 still on track, with Chauvet and Stanek the other two. 14 car of Roy Nassani hotly pursued by Roberto Faria in the battle for 7th. And Jahan Durivala just falling behind the front two of Patrick Pasma, going through screen now, and Zhou Guanyu. With 9 laps now in the book, 0.6 of a second is the lead that he has over Zhou, and about a couple of seconds gap to the streamer for Durivala, Maini, Vidales and Bolet Bassi. This number 7 car of Roy Nassani, excuse me, Roberto Faria. So Zhou Guanyu right behind Pasma. He's not letting him get away here. It would be pretty bold of the Chinese driver if he is to attempt something. May not know at this stage that he's under investigation. So even if he is to provisionally cross the line in second place as things stand, picking up 18 championship points, that may yet change. Nothing that Pierre-Louis Chauvet, the championship leader, can do at this stage but watch and wait. He had to wait for a very, very long time, overnight in fact, before he was finally bumped up from 6th to 5th in yesterday's race. That gave him an extra 2 points, which, the way things are going, could in fact prove the difference in the title race. He's 24 points ahead, and Joe provisionally on course to pick up 18 points, cutting that lead just down to 6 points with 1 race remaining. Chauvet will have to do what he can from 6th on the grid for the 15th and final race. Zhou Guanyu will try to start. Well, he will start from pole position for the 3rd time this weekend, but so far he has been unable to beat Patrick Pasma down into turn 1. And guess who's alongside him on the front row of the grid for the final race today? Yep, Patrick Pasma. Pasma looking for the trio. It's been a spotless weekend for him so far. Except, as you can say, of the qualifying, where he was second in both. He was the second fastest in terms of lap times in yesterday's race 13. But as soon as we come to the race action, he has been absolutely faultless. Patrick Pasma leads by not very much, but there's only a shade over 3 minutes on the clock. Zhou Guanyu will be pretty happy to be picking up some good championship points. That was very much his motto. Well, Joe having a little bit of a wiggle there, just keeping the pressure on. And is he going to risk something? This would be dramatic. Chauvet might be in two minds whether to egg him on from the sidelines to see if something happens. In second place. If Joe were to get past Pasma, he would go into the lead provisionally by 1 single championship point. But the stewards are looking at an incident from earlier in the race, where Joe possibly went over track limits at turn 9. So Patrick Pasma lapping very well indeed. He has, in fact, the fastest lap in this race, a 2:08.5, just slightly quicker by a few hundredths of a second, quicker than Zhou Guanyu, the man right behind him. And these two now are pretty far ahead. And we will get likely just one more lap, as the clock will come down to 0 here on the 12th lap of the race. Now further back, Alexandra Bardenon, also under investigation for cutting at turn 13. So Pasma and Zhou Guanyu about 3 seconds ahead of Jahan Duravala in 3rd position, Kusmani in 4th, David Vidales and Cem Bolek-Bassi in 5th and 6th. Then come Roy Nassani, Roberto Faria, Rhys Ushijima, who will be on course for victory in the Rookie Cup in today's race. He's in 9th spot. And Lorenzo Fluxat will be taking a single point for his 10th. But no, look at another incident. And that almost certainly will be that in terms of action. As we are on the last lap, no need to get the safety car out. Pasma looks pretty comfortable. Zhou Guanyu yesterday very much focused on the fact that he'd banked some good points and was ahead of his rival in the standings, Pierre-Louis Chauvet. Didn't dwell on the disappointment of losing out from pole position, and you would expect that would be his approach today. He probably doesn't know exactly how things have worked out for him, but it is going right down to the wire. And the penalties that we've seen handed out so far have all been reasonably minor. Even if he were to get a few seconds or perhaps a few grid positions, he would still be round about 10 points back of Chauvet as Patrick Pasma comes round for another win. That's his third win in the last 4 races. Magnificent driving from the Finnish driver. China's Zhou Guanyu provisionally in second place, but an incident involving him will be looked at after the race. And then the 2 Indian drivers, Jahan Durivala and Kushmayani, with a podium each for them across this weekend so far. Kushmayani yesterday and Durivala today. David Vidales, Chembol Bassi, Roy Nassani, Roberto Faria, Rus Nishijima and Lorenzo Fluxa rounding out the top 10. Then comes the current Rookie Cup leader, Ayuma Iwasa, in 11th position. Irina Sidorkova, a good drive from her to finish 12th. Alessio Deleda in 13th. Rafael Villagomez in 14th. Nicola Marinangeli in 15th after starting from the back of the grid. And Khaled Alkabesi, who was involved in an incident with Alex Connor earlier in the race, crosses in 16th position. That is Kushmayani, 3rd yesterday, 4th today, and having a much better weekend than he had in Dubai 1 week ago, where he just had some desperately bad luck. But he's managing to put it all together here, and that is good to see. Stress that these results are provisional, and we do have incidents involving top drivers that the stewards will be looking at and potentially ruling on. So Kushmayani, the man on screen now, not out of the realm of possibility that he is bumped up back into the podium spots. But please do tune in for coverage of the 15th and final race of the season. That's Alexandra Bardenon's car. And we will update you with exactly what has happened with the results as soon as we know it. And we will find out who our new F3 Asian champion will be. Will it be Pierre-Louis Chauvet, or will it be Zhou Guanyu? Hard to pick a favourite at the moment, it has to be said. Chauvet has an increasingly slender lead in the championship standings and has had a fairly shaky weekend. Hasn't shown the pace that we've come to expect of him so far this season. He's been disappointing by his high standards here at Yas Marina, and without seeing that incident again, hard to know exactly what happened when he clashed somehow with Roman Stanek. But the fact remains is that he is not getting any points for today's race. And he starts in position number 6 for the 15th and final race later today. Patrick Pasma, as he did yesterday, takes the win from number 2 on the grid. Another textbook start and a textbook drive. This is turning into a very, very impressive late run of form towards the end of this season, and he'll be looking to do exactly that later today, where he starts in position number 2 alongside Zhou Guanyu, trying to make it 3 out of 3. And Zhou must be getting pretty sick of the sight of him, because there are opportunities to pass, but once any of these drivers get their noses in front, we haven't seen too many passes for the lead. We've seen plenty of overtakes in midfield, but not amongst the very, very top drivers in terms of the race lead. So, provisional results. Patrick Pasma, another race win for him. That's his 3rd of the season. China's Zhou Guanyu picks up valuable championship points in second. India's Jahan Durivala completes the podium position. His teammate Kushmani is in fourth. Spain's David Vidales in fifth. Turkish racer Cem Bulutbasi in sixth. Israel's Roy Nassani in seventh. Roberto Faria in eighth. Reese Ushijima in ninth. And Lorenzo Fluxa rounding out the points. And look at those 5 DNFs. The most significant is the man at the bottom, Pierre-Louis Chauvet. He still leads the championship, but his lead has been cut from 24 points to, right now, provisionally, just 6 points. That could change, depending on the final results of this race. But you would expect it to be coming down, and there is still one race to go with 25 points on offer. So this is going right down to the wire. We'll need to wait just how close it's going to be at the start of the race and then to see how things progress. But so let's have a look back at the race. And once again, Patrick Pasma from position number 2 on right of screen has the perfect start and blasts past Zhou Guanyu to get his nose in front. Well ahead it was by the time he got to turn 1. Roy Nassani going off there as he was trying to get around Pierre-Louis Chauvet. And early on, plenty of battles. And lots of incidents with drivers going wide. China's Zhou Guanyu, that was about as close as he got. And this was the one where they will be looking at it again. Now he rejoined and he seemed to give up the space, but drama just moments later. Championship leader in the number 3 car, Pierre-Louis Chauvet, out of this race. Roman Stanek, who also had an incident in yesterday's race, was the other car involved there. That brought out the safety car. No dramas for Patrick Pasma at the front. He got right back on it as we got back to racing. And Kushmani at this stage is in position number 5th, but here he was to go past David Vidales. In fact, just a little bit later it was. Here was the moment. And Roy Nassani also going right past, but he was to give that position back after the advantage that he had got, and that's what the drivers have been briefed on doing. And it looked to me as if Zhou Guanyu also held up as well. This was a second incident on track between Alex Connor and Khaled Al-Khabaisi. O'Connor unable to drive away from that, so he was back into the pits. Too much damage to his car. And then we got back to racing once again. Patrick Pasma. Just a little wiggle there as Zhou Guanyu was having a look, trying to perhaps pressure the Finn driver into making a mistake. But he took the checkered flag. 2 in 2 now, and 3 in 4 wins for Patrick Pasma as he celebrates on top of the car. And we will be hearing from our top 3 drivers, Patrick Pasma, Zhou Guanyu and Jahan Durivala, in just a moment. So please stay to hear from them, and we'll be back later on as well with live coverage of race number 15.
Patrick, another good start of the race. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, good start. Managed to get the P1 on the main straight, and then we just managed to do good laps after, and there was few safety cars and things like this. But I think we managed everything quite well, and yeah, another victory, and yeah, I'm really happy. Thank you.
Now Feline is down with China's Zhou Guanyu. Let's hear what he had to say after crossing in second position.
So Guan Yu, you are now, after this race, you are now leading the overall championship now, and also starting from P1 for next race. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, obviously we've done a job so far this weekend. One more race to go. We came back after missing 32 points coming for the last round. It's been all good so far, and there's one more race to go. And the main job is to finish ahead of him and try to, have a clean first lap and get my position and try to take the championship. Thank you.
And Jahan Duravala of India is down, standing by with Feline. Back into the podium positions. Let's join the Mumbai Falcons driver now and see how his race was.
Hey, Johan, and congratulations, P3 this race, and tell us about the race.
Yes, it was quite a difficult race for me because everyone in the top 5 used their new tires, and I decided to save them for later. So, yeah, I think I was happy to be on the podium with the tires from yesterday's race. So, hopefully on my new set this afternoon I can try and win the race. Thank you.
Well, interesting there to hear that Jahan Duravala, who starts in third position in the 15th and final race later today, will have a new set of tyres, so he will be going flat out for the win. China's Zhou Guanyu starts on pole position. As we look at Pasma in the middle, taking another win from Zhou Guanyu and Jahan Duravala. Those are the three who will start in the first 3 spots. Later on today, championship leader Pierre-Louis Chauvet starts in 6th. This is going right down to the wire. Join us for live coverage then, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.